Okay. So, the neat thing about Girls Frontline's DJMAX collab is that unlike the other ones, it wasn't just one way. They also had their end of it. And also, we got songs. So, let's go. This was the theme song from the end of Singularity. Oh, it's got a whole mad video too. Yo. Yes, you can resume talking about the web novel. Hey, we got a M950 plate. I feel I'm too direct. I'd like to write like a novel or something like that, but I feel like I'd have the opposite problem where I'd have way too many words. Like just way too many words. Okay, so this one immediately has visuals from Continuum Turbulence. Wait, no. That's still Singularity, I forgot. She had those visions in Singularity. She wasn't around for Continuum Turbulence, really. M4. Oh, you fucked it. There's the guy at the end calling in her... the white faction. They do have a name, I forget it offhand. It's Paris something. Oh, you really fucked that up. Was that wild at the end there? Similar type of wet novel to what I described at the... About a dragon that was very clearly inspired by Kumuga, but it was quite bad. No story, and the evolution's completely random. That itself wouldn't be a problem if it at least did interesting things with it and was going somewhere with it, but you know, it can be taken as read that that was not the case. You can tell it's the villain song because then you can do one of the control stick notes. Forget if Gloria has those, I'm pretty sure it does. If it doesn't, that makes that joke even better. Alright. Sanguis Fairy one went easiest of them all, I feel like. Hey, best girl play it. Alright. That's the only 3 songs that were brought in for this, which, to be fair, considering they have like all their own music videos and shit. Quite nice. I do like these, because they do just flick through a whole bunch of different dolls. I think it goes in order, AR team, Defy, and then 404 team. And after that is Sanguis Fairy for the online, because that's where you go to die. And then here I think is just random dolls. Other best girl. That's actually a whole SGMG team. That's fun. It's gonna be a handgun rifle team then? Yep. That's great. It's even fun. It has some, but not all of the characters from the DJMAX collab story in Girls Frontline. It's called Reincarnated as a Horned Rabbit. The name implies the MC reincarnates as a horned rabbit, but she only has fragmented memories of past life. These encounters are fairly relevant. Okay. I feel like there's a more graceful way of doing that, like just jumping straight to have it, you know, oh, this is a smarter rabbit than normal or something. Suggest that a reincarnation rather than flat out isekai, but I guess you do what you must to get that tag in so people will actually read it. I missed one. Keep missing that. What's that button again? No, that's the left button. Yeah. the end there. Bunnycorn. Bunnycorn is like the funniest name I've heard for that, because it's usually just something like, oh, it's a jackrabbit. Almost another X3. Oh well. Oh, it's a Dragon Quest. I don't even remember that. That is such a good name, though. Solid C. One day I'll get that above Tibby. One day. A bit smaller and she's black with brown hairs and forehead. The eyes looks identical. Oh yeah, these have been popping up every now and then in this. Yeah, fuck it. Do it again. See how you do now, you've seen the note map. One day I'll be good enough. I have seen an A rank. This feels a lot faster. Hang on. No, go away. How to make you leave? This feels immediately faster, what the fuck? Speed is still at 1. Was it lower in free play? And I just didn't realize. Oh, you know what? Is it because Arcade actually does apply a little speed thing on later stages? Is that it? I've just never noticed until one like this. New record, even though I feel like I fucked that up royally. And it's crazy. And like the Sanctuary song threw me off for being slow. Hey. I noticed that was put down to 3/4 speed. Maybe that was one I tried like on the first stream or something, either for giggles or. You know, I feel like this one would actually might be one of those ones that the way it's paced would actually probably fuck you up at a lower speed. At least at first until you adjust. Well, too early. It might just be there's a lot of long notes in it, but this one feels like longer than usual too. It's a pretty good story, even though it's very rough around the edges. It's missing a lot of fluff. You know, it doesn't really give you any information that's not absolutely required. It'd be nice to have some more in the dialogue with the main characters so that we can learn more about her. Same goes for dialogue with side characters. On the one hand, I kind of respect that. I get why, like, you know, not having even just fluffed out like the build character is, you know, a problem, obviously, but on the other hand, I kind of respect is not bothering giving you anything that is not absolutely 100% required. There's a thing I notice a lot and that kind of annoys me with just, like, people. It's kind of the sort of thing I wish people would learn to grow past. Is like, especially in fantasy stuff, if something comes up and it has, like, you know, a mad fancy name, some people will just completely trip on it and go like, I can't possibly understand what this is, like, this is impossible, this is so confusing, I don't get it. And like, really, all you need to know is that it's the name of X or Y. You know, it's the name of a person, it's the name of a city or a location, it's the name of a thing. Like, I don't get, like, what the problem is, just like, just scan over it. You don't necessarily have to pronounce it out loud or anything. I don't know. I may have been rewatching Chris's stream VODs of his Final Fantasy 14 stuff. Well, that jab aside, it really isn't just him. I notice it in like other friends and especially in Northern Ireland at times as well. Basically, I notice it in a lot of Americans actually. It's just kind of like just in your head, just scan over it. Oh, say Americans. No, yeah, basically all my American friends. Okay, not all of them, but you know, a good deal of friends. Like a lot of American people, I'm friends with, talk to, or listen to, and it's just kind of like it doesn't matter. Like, you don't need to royally know what the actual working word means. You also notice it with actually American game reviewers a lot too. This is part of why I hate like mainstream reviewers for stuff like Final Fantasy, because like I remember seeing reviewers bitching about the fact that it uses the word crystal as a thing. It's kind of like, it's literally referring to a giant crystalline rock. Like, what do you, like, if you cannot understand that, like, fucking go back to primary school or whatever passes for it over there. And it's like, oh, he's saying like this guy's name is Noctis Von whatever, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's a name. Like, it's fucking like, just fucking, you don't, like, what are you tripping over? Just like, it's a name done good, smack it out. It's the funny thing, because I was watching it wasn't a review exactly, it was hardly a review of Cats, but it was, you know, the movie Cats that came out last year, and like, I saw like one thing people kept tripping over was like the actual contents of Cats, the play itself, and how like the characters keep ranting or like singing all about like being a Jellicle cat, and people keep going like, what the fuck does Jellicle mean, why are they doing this? And it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter. Like, it just black box it, like, Jellicle cat, that is a status they wish you adhere to. Okay, good, fine, let's watch. Maybe I'm just a machine, I don't know. But like, it's just gonna be like, I don't strictly need to know your exact definition for this until it matters. You can like, just all I need to know is like, this is a status of positivity that they seek to have. Good. That's all there is to it. That's Gavin's critical literature theory. You can use whatever the fuck word you want. I do not care. And no one else should either. Then again, I was also playing Final Fantasy from the age of like 5, so maybe I'm just broken. The only thing I like is it plays the main menu theme of Girls Frontline here and in between the songs and all. But let's pop back over. Yeah, now I don't have to step over the Girls Frontline music whenever I see it in the arcade track list. Speak of the devil. I noticed it's now bringing them up a lot more commonly. I wonder if that's because I played them in free play. If that's the case, when will you unlock Glory Day in free play so I can challenge it in arcade more often? You know, maybe it's just part of like being in a country where like the names are derived from like old Gaelic and current Irish and Welsh and shit, which, you know, is just sure the root of that and all, but it's kind of like oh fuck me then, I was moving that stick. That's just thrown me entirely. You're in a place where, you know, like names like Guinness and Shoshone, I can never pronounce that one. Shoshone, whatever. Are like relatively common. They're not that, you know, not that out of place. Or, you know, my own surname, which is, I don't think it's particularly fucked, but the amount of people I've seen even hear trip on is kind of like, you know, maybe I just live in the fantasy novel already, so it just makes sense to me. I don't know. Oh, pardon me. Alright, we also there's Black Cat again, but I will spare you this time. Yeah, this one keeps popping up and it's like way above my level, but fuck it, let's go. So we have like more visuals to haunt ourselves with. I feel like I've already attempted this one before, actually. Or at least another one with this character in it. Oh, fuck me then, alright. Oh god, these note combinations are A, ridiculous and also very weird. Help. Help. Did I hit every single one there? Help. 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 Oh god, my eyes. Oh, that's really bad. Oh, fuck, I cannot look at that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, he did it. Somehow. The ones that flash in their videos are actually probably the worst, considering how hard I had to stare at this just to, like, dead black out the surroundings and, like, focusing on the board. Time for me to wank about Lavender Ravine. By all means, have the floor. I'll see you on the other side of Cherokee. Pretty darn good. A lot of interesting systems, and actually managed to scratch a similar itch as this Gaia does. Ooh. Makes sense, it does. So that format, though, is interesting. I know it's not their first, like, dungeon crawler. I believe that would be the Thai Hero project, I think. But the background for this one looks Mega Drive as fuck. And this Mega Drive as filtered through Adobe Flash on Newgrounds. Alright, Luigi, get up. Shit. Died towards the end there. It does, however, flop in a couple of places. Dungeons themselves, for the most part, pretty great. Most different than each other, and each one changes the way you go about exploring quite a lot. That's actually quite interesting to hear. I was assuming that all the roughly same sort of thing, more or less, but like bigger enemies or occasionally adding more traps. I wasn't exactly expecting. Would you say that in the sort of idea that like some of the Atrium Odyssey games do, at least the ones I played? In certain parts of certain dungeons, the game slows down a bunch. You're forced to avoid certain enemy types you won't be able to take on at that time unless you're grounded, and it has a tendency to slow down the progress. Okay, so it tries the FOE thing but doesn't quite pull it off. Or is it like not quite to that level, but the same sort of thing? This is what the girls' Frontline stream last time was named after this one. Bigger Dungeon 3 is the biggest contender. Pulled off a new record for this one from my life. This is the one that got our dipshit expressions on. Exactly. The smug face. To be fair, she does have that a fair bit in Black Cat as well. It's not quite FOE, but it is monsters you can take on reliably. Okay, fair enough. Challenge the gate. Scream Funk, NB Rangers. Hello, Luigi. Sorry about the background noise if you can hear it. Can't really help that. Rain's kind of helping fun. Turned around and discussed them there. Oh, I do not have the speed for this. Do not have the speed for that one, dude. Not yet. Yeah, let's try it. Yeah, this is the one or it's one of the one. It was like the one, probably from the same artist as the one we came across in the collab bit there. Yeah, it is this one. That's cheeky. No, it's not quite this one. No, it's not this one at all, then. Or is it? I don't know. It could be an edit. I'd have to go back and actually compare instead of just trying to guess on the fly. I don't know why I went for the stick for that one. It's not a stick at all. Oh, I just barely made it. Hello, Luigi. Combat and Labyrinth Refrain is interesting. Their magic system works the game, all battles tend to... Pardon me. You just hitting that auto battle button, you're going to build a character slot for spell damage or auto attacking. Pardon me. So yes, you decide to have one in one slot with magic focus character. Chances are most characters are going to hit that auto attack. That's fair. I mean, that's kind of the way I prefer it. Like, enemies should be essentially like a strategy or like level check essentially, and have like some involvement, but not completely. Like have some tricks, have some little things to overcome. but never to the point of being too involved and too... This is where like a problem, especially with a lot of amateur takes on JRPGs, especially a lot of like JRPG fan patches and mods and hacks and shit fall down, is that they think like to make the game more difficult or cool or interesting they have to make everything a big long involved ass fight. But doing that more often than not just makes, you know, it just makes a thing like too involving and just makes it begin to get on fun when you have to like sit down and hammer out the exact same sequence of events. They're too in detail, they're too in depth, they automate, but you know, like once you've solved it, it's just the same thing every time essentially. So like, what's the point? Whereas big bosses should be more involved in general because, you know, that's the best way. It's nice to have ones though every now and then they're just straight up slugfest where it's just, you know, you just damage race them to the end essentially, which is going to be very fun. No, that's this one. Hang on. Where'd the track go? Oh, that's rad. I didn't expect him to ever do something like that. That's rad. I don't know how many other ones have little track gags like that. Doing well too. Okay. Let's talk about the story. The story is actually quite gripping. Doesn't really start that way, but manages to become more and more gripping the further you go on the end of it. Just goes places. This is something I've heard actually about, like, The Witch and the 100th Night, which is NASA's like action RPG back in the PS3. It's also on PS4. And I actually have that sitting here and I have to play it still. I could probably do that on stream at some point. But I heard that one is actually also gets quite dark as well. And while it has fun, it does, you know, it is quite dark in a lot of ways, which I'm morbidly curious about. Finished up Higher Mathematics and had it in. See Hammer decided to write a novel in the chat in the meantime. He's writing his own mad long review blog post. As of the game's difficulty, and there had the grind progress, to say unless you're running from every battle and doing your routine correct, you should be okay. That's optimal. That's the way it should be. If I didn't if I got like full combo on that, that probably could have been a B. That probably could have been a B. Set the final boss, it's quite dumb or just stat check it is. Okay. Yeah, they gave an easy move defeated. Oh shit. That's mad. That's a mad jump then. Fuck me. That's just for the normal ending though. To get the tree ending, there's a bunch of extra stuff to do, including super bosses. You're gonna have to grind. I respect that on some levels, to be fair. That's good. The fact that there are defined grinding spots is actually like, the advantage of being the best guy it is. You're right enough. That is good to have though, I like having that. It reminds me of Criminal Girls, which was not developed by NSA themselves, but they did NIS themselves, but they did publish it. You know a bit about it, you like the guy who says everything told you. That's great. Nah, you go on if you want to. I mean, it's never with Josh, but it's fine. Currently grinding during the stream. It's also the person that gave me his 3DS. Fair. So I'm clicking on and off here because there might be a need to meet. They also gave me this guy at DS. This guy at DS was really good. I really like that. It is kind of a... Obviously it's like very low res and all that port of the original PS2's guy, but it takes handheld very well. And DS is a bunch of optional content and extra stuff that even the Disgaea release on PSP later didn't have as well. So it's just very neat. I was where like this guy really clicked for me, and then I went back and played this guy 2 on PS2, and then got really disappointed by 3. Never did play 4, and I never did beat 5. I liked what I played at 5, but yeah, it just fell by the wayside because of university.
햇빛을 따라가며 걸어가는 중 널 만날 때면 꽃들도 살랑살랑 나를 반겨줘 파란 하늘색 도화지 알록달록 너의 모습 그려봐 두근대는 마음 빨개진 두 볼 비눗방울처럼 커져만 가 너와 함께하면 온 세상이 투명해 날 소중하게 아껴주고 또 사랑해줄 거야 너와 함께하면 날아갈 것만 같아 나를 안아줄래 It's a beautiful day 빨개진 두 볼 비눗방울처럼 커져만 가 너와 함께하면 온 세상이 선명해 또 사랑해줄 거야 너와 함께하면 날아갈 것만 같아 나를 안아줄래 It's a beautiful day It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
PC did eventually get that extra content, then they released a full remix, I guess is the best version now. I am kind of curious about the full remake, if only because this guy DS is giving us a ton of time into, so I'm kind of attached to those characters, especially Cast of 1 and 2 especially. There goes the talking, hang on. Okay, we're good now. What was I gonna say? Yes, that all is very encouraging about Lavender Free and Hammer. I'm looking forward to it, and I have it sitting here, as I said. I know, right? I mean, D3 I can come and go on, because I don't really like D3's cast or character or story. And this guy at D2 I would like to have on another system, if only so I don't have to rely on being on PS3. NIS are from all that's been said and told, probably in a bad way again. Like, I forget if it was like more than just hearsay or whatever, but there's like, you know, talk of the studio struggling again since this Gaia 5. Because a lot of their they've been doing a lot of like horror visual novels and horror side games and shit a lot, but none of it really sells super great. I think the Yomawari games eventually found an audience, but a lot more of their other more experimental stuff just doesn't kind of grab people, it seems like, especially in Japan. So, this is also not the first time they've been like that. You know, like they were like this before Disgaea 4, in part because Disgaea 3 tanked. And then Disgaea 4 gave them the kick up the ass, a lot of their stuff sold well again, and then they just kind of drifted back to nothing selling so well. It's just... it's a sad story, but... part of it is also kind of like that you don't make the things people want. If we're being honest. I'm not saying that they stick to their old franchises or anything, but they, like, while I respect them for wanting to experiment, for wanting to go in certain directions, they have passions for, like, the horror stuff, it's also kind of, well, A, we don't often get that horror stuff over here. We got Yomawari, and I don't think we got any of the visual novels. But also B, you know, it's not just this guy. Like, you can do other RPG and strategy RPG stuff that you haven't really done or experimented with since, well, the PS2 days, I guess. That was when they were at their height, but that's also when they were relatively new. A lot of stuff they could be doing, they just aren't really. It's kind of like, it's no wonder you're not really finding an audience. It's not like there isn't a market for it. Like, the fact that Compile Heart continues to exist is proof enough. People buy this Gaia. People love strategy RPGs. Square Enix. Tactics A3, when? Square Enix. Square. Square. Square? No. When you port in the fucking iOS version of Final Fantasy Tactics, which is a port of the PSP remake, which was really good in terms of visuals at least, and had a better translation, but it was kind of shit on the PSP, because the UMD is a shit medium for loading, and it struggled with load times. When are you putting that on PC? I suppose I could just play the iOS version, it's still up. Some of Square Enix's older stuff just got taken down because there was like, ah well, we don't want to bother updating this for new iOS versions. Stuff that had compatibility issues. Which is to say, the iOS version of The World Ends With You is just gone now. So it's a good thing it was ported to Switch. Where's that for Final Fantasy Tactics? Where's LaFucelle? Yeah, really. Remake. Oh, I heard like they had like some sort of rights issues with the name in America, but like fuck it, just do it anyway and rename it for, you know, America. Koei Tecmo did that with fucking their Attack on Titan game. They're like, well, we can't use the words Attack on Titan because of some licensing thing, so we'll just call it AOT and we'll just, you know, advertise it with that. But the characters, no, people got it. It's sold. People aren't that stupid, especially fans of niche stuff. Or niche-er stuff. Yeah, as niche as the Attack on Titan can be considered, considering how big it is. But you know what I mean. For less mainstream video games is probably the best way to put it. Once you're on that level, people are committed enough to finding out and following. And don't be cowards, just do it. lot of people say it's a really good name, to be fair, but if you can't get it, oh well. Just do it again without the name. America isn't the end all be all either, just from what we heard, what did we hear? I'll say this much, I didn't hear that Square Enix hated the seals, so there's that. Square Enix did not explicitly say the seals were bad or that they hated them, but I don't remember them saying that they fucking loved it either. So, it probably sold okay, but not enough for Square Enix to be like, oh fuck shit, and celebrate it. But, you know, okay is probably enough. Yeah, it sold okay from what I've heard. I don't remember being condemned, so I'll take that as a win, frankly. Considering how like high Nomura's stock is at Square Enix right now, though, if he wanted to continue the series when he gets a chance, I don't think they would stop him at this point. Especially with Final Fantasy VII Remake cleaning up the way it has, which, you know, it was always going to do, but considering the changes and all it made, it's the fact that it still managed to pull through people shitting about it. Well, some people shitting about it is kind of like, hey, they're happier with them than people like to think. His perfectionist ways got him taken off of Final Fantasy 15, that's true, but that doesn't mean Square Enix hated him or weren't happy with him. They just wanted it out the door. And to that game's detriment, considering how much it had to be patched to be finished up and had new stuff added in to fill the many holes it had at the start. Now granted, not a, like, I didn't think, at least in terms of story, there were any critical holes in Final Fantasy 15. At least none that you couldn't just get through inference or any that mattered for the actual main story itself. There were some obvious cuts and holes here and there, though, I can't deny that. But not enough for, like, the story to not make sense. I completely misread that. That should have been a slam dunk, and you fucked it by not paying attention. I like it when they do that, like, just ladder themselves into the change. But, like, you know, I will take the port of Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. I would kill for remakes in that style for Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Tactics A2. You do not know the murders I will commit now that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered is a thing that exists and is coming. You do not know, like, the lengths I would go to for that are now the lengths I will go to for Tactics. Yes, I am still playing Monster Hunter World today, don't worry. We're coming to the end of DJMAX, we're going to Doom 64, then Mario, and then Monster Hunter. So my idea with Monster Hunter is basically, if nothing else, getting through the whole starting tutorial bit, getting like maybe the first first few hunts down and shit, get the bases established so that way we can just, you know, go forwards, carry on, and that way we can play together. And I forget if I mentioned this, but when I got that GPU, the RX 5700 XT, the AMD like game deal on it had Monster Hunter World Iceborne, like the full game plus Iceborne as one of its things, which I couldn't take because I already had it on Steam. But I let David log in on my AMD rewards account, and he managed to link it to his account, so now he owns it on PC. His PC is good enough to run it, So the 3 of us can go at that shit. And if Chris wants to join us, we have a full squad of 4 for a Monster Hunter World PC. And we're quids in. Like, we're like, we have the potential for a full 4 squad. So we're fucking ready and going. Yes, that's been our DJMAX weekly. I am going to run to the toilet, and then I'll come back for Doom 64, which I won't have to change inputs for at least, that'll be nice. Yeah, I'll just stop recording to leave this rolling on DJMAX, so, yep, give me a few minutes.